Happy Monday. Hope everybody's doing well. It's a pleasure to be in front of you again tonight. What we're going to do, as we've done in the past, is we'll talk about some customer reviews. We'll answer some questions. I'm going to talk a little bit about why Cellercise and why the Cellerciser. We'll go through and demonstrate some of the movements and how to properly do some of the movements on the Cellerciser. And of course, we're going to answer some questions. So if you have questions, please be sure to write them in. Brooklyn is behind the camera. Christine is watching and helping to feed information to us too. So thank you. I also want to say thank you to all of you who are part of the Cellercise family. You are making such a difference in the lives of so many people. You don't even know. Some of you do, but some of you don't, and you need to. The Cellerciser, it's unlike any type of exercise out there. It's literally G-forces, pumping, weight-bearing, circulatory. It does so much for so many people, and so many people are enjoying its benefits. And we hope that those you care about will give the Cellerciser a chance and see what they can experience too. But you're the difference. I'm just a facilitator, and I'm grateful to be involved and be a part in this whole program. It's continuing to grow. So again, thank you. All right. Geraldine writes, I did what most people do and go cheap and then totally was in pain. Now we happily own 3 Cellercisers. Geraldine, thank you, Geraldine. Jerry writes, I'm shocked at how fast my bat wings have tightened up in only 3 weeks of doing Stephanie's Cellercise arm routine. I'm 62 and a little flabby on the arms. Who am I kidding everywhere? It's amazing. Now to get rid of cellulite. Don't give up, ladies. Jerry, thank you, Jerry. And you're right, we don't give up. I love my Cellerciser for cardio and its health benefits. I do feel my thighs tight after a workout, but not like leg day at the gym. I also do upper body with weights. I also love biking and power walking. The Cellerciser has been the best addition to my workouts. I have my 84-year-old mom doing it, and it has been great for her balance. Donna. Thank you, Donna. And yes, Cellercise tightens and tones, and it builds muscle, but it doesn't build bulky muscles. So as we do it, you're going to have strong, dense, flexible, and just overall healthy muscles. Kathy writes, I absolutely love the Cellerciser. Update since I started Cellercising before Christmas. It's embarrassing to say, but the last 17 years exercise was not in my vocabulary. So when I discovered Dave and the Cellerciser, I got hopeful that I could get my physical health back. With all that said, I had to start slow. With the simple start of baby health balance, my results have already begun to show. We have great days ahead. No more dizzy room spinning when I lay down. Energy returned. My ability to bounce and do routines is awesome. Now I'm following Dave's weekly routines that he made. Love his style of coaching and information he gives. My husband and I are truly grateful for this simple exercise. Help to support our healthy aging life, Kathy. Thank you, Kathy. And I know there's a lot of you out there that are experiencing benefits. Please share them with the Cellercise family. And if you have questions or issues that you want to address, please present those too. We're going to go over some of those right now. So, are there any exercises we can incorporate into our routine to focus on the upper body? Also, anything specific to help alleviate shoulder pain? I'm going to show you some shoulder techniques in just a few moments. The upper body we have addressed. We talk about upper body and the chest and the shoulders and the back. But Cellercise is all, this is, as Brooklyn can testify, and I've been doing it her whole life. This is the only exercise I get. And the Cellerciser, she's shaking it. The Cellerciser is weight bearing. And so it's going to build up muscles. It's just not going to build or tear them down to build them up. It's just going to strengthen them and without damaging the muscle, which is one of the additional benefits of Cellercising. So as far as shoulder pain, we're going to come to that. I'm going to show you some of the techniques on the Cellerciser in just a few minutes. Dave, what can I do to restore my walking efficiency? I'm 66, but I've always been into health and fitness. Now doing your 19-minute, 47-minute fitness routine every day that you posted recently with no problem at all. Even adding all 3 sitting ab exercises that I've seen you demonstrate. I used to love walking, but now walking is more of a struggle than fun. Relief is when I go to the grocery store and start pushing a cart. I want to get back to really enjoying taking a walk, and I'm counting on you for an answer. No pressure though. Well, you get ready and prepare for that walk on the Cellerciser because it's going to open up circulation and warm up all the tissue. Then go out and enjoy your walk. And when you're done walking, and you're going to be exercising and enjoying the benefits of walking as well, but when you're done, come back and Cellercise again for a few moments or a few minutes so that we help get rid of any lactic acid, pounding, jarring effect. That's what the body really is responding to. It doesn't like pounding or jarring. Accumulatively, it shatters the nervous system. It builds up stress and tension in the body. Cellercise opens up circulation. So when you're going to go out and walking, that's fine. I can walk for miles. But when you do it, when you're done, get back on that Cellerciser, help promote that circulation. The body will eventually become more and more used to the walking. And I say the same thing for people who like to jog. It's always better, in my opinion, to get on that Cellerciser and open up circulation and warm up the tissue, and then go out and do your jogging. But when you're done, get back on that Cellerciser. So we help to open up that circulation again, get rid of the stress tension that's built up, and get more circulation between those joints. You'll enjoy jogging for a lot longer period of time. Since starting rebounding, have your thighs gotten bigger? I know it's muscle because I can feel it. But no, my pants are really tight. I don't like it. Will they slim down eventually if I keep rebounding? Never really heard that question before. Cellercise will strengthen your muscles, but it's not tearing down or building bulky muscles. So if your muscles are toning up, that may be what you're experiencing. And Cellercise, since it's not going to build bulky muscles, it's not tearing down, it's not excessive weight, it's more aerobic conditioning. It does have weight-bearing effects too, to build and make them strong and healthy, but it's not going to make them bulky. So continuing to Cellercise will help burn more fuel. But if you've got strong, firm thighs, that's a healthy thing, so it's good. I thought I oiled my unit to quiet it down more. Now it squeaks and creaks terribly. What went wrong? We've had that question a number of times. In fact, if you look at our last session, we had the normal unit here that we leave in our living room. I brought because we had 3 Cellercisers. I brought my Cellerciser from my office in here, and we brought a new Cellerciser up. And although I oiled it, if you listen to the program, the last program, you'll hear it squeaking, squeak, squeak, squeak. And I actually had somebody call me up, and wonderful family member in the Cellerciser. I love him. He's awesome. But he called up and he said, David, you should take that down. Your competition's going to see it, and they're going to use that against you. I thought, I'm not really worried about the competition. Number one, they've always tried to disparage our unit as being squeaky. But I want you to know that when it's a new unit, the steel is rubbing against steel. It's going to take a little while to smooth those edges out. The oil helps, and over a period of time, the unit becomes real quiet. So on our Cellerciser, and they're all built the same. It's the same materials. So when I get on my Cellerciser, I start to bounce up and down, you can hear it's really quiet. And that's just a process, and you build it. Now, what I use is 3-in-1 oil, and this is a multi-purpose oil, and you can pick most of it up at any grocery store in the household section. It's very, very common. And what I do, and if it's a trifold Cellerciser, Brooklyn, we might need to turn the camera down a little, I'm not sure. But if it's a trifold Cellerciser, when it's brand new, I'll take the oil and I will actually, on the first, I only have to do this once, but on a trifold, I'll actually put a drop of oil on both sides of the hinge. On all, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, there's 2 here. There's 2 here, so there's 4 hinges. You do the front and back of both those hinges, and then these 2 hinges. I'll put a drop of oil here, and that just makes the creaking disappear. And then, as I've shown on the DVD or my video, when you oil the unit itself, I just pull it back and put a drop of oil at both ends of each spring. And I work my way all the way around, and it's eventually just going to work out the rough edges so that, again, it becomes very squeaky, or very quiet, just like this one. So that's, hang in there if that's bothering you. That is the answer, and that works. Now, if you spray it, like with WD-40, the spray oil can actually get on the coils of the spring, causing it to squeak. If that happens, I suggest take some Dawn detergent soap and water in a scrub brush, take it outside, scrub it down, hose it off, it's not going to hurt it, and then start over again. And make sure that I don't use WD because it's as a spray because it's too hard to control. But then if you take and put a drop of oil at both ends again of each spring, that's where the steel rubs against steel, and it'll help quiet it right up. Okay. Inner thighs muscle building, toning best moves. Well, the Jamba run is going to tighten and tone all the way around the thigh. The Whippy Ski Patrol is going to be working both the inner and outer thigh. So those movements on our program will help. Okay. Why Cellercise? What is it about Cellercise? Well, first of all, it's the only exercise out there, I believe, that can claim to be an isometric for toning from the inside out, isotonic for building, calisthenic for targeting, and we're going to show you some of the targeting moves in a moment, aerobic for conditioning, and isotonic for building muscle mass, because the whole thing is weight bearing on bones and muscles. And it's aerobic for conditioning and flexibility without ever having to stretch, because it's taking all the muscles, ligaments, and tendons and massaging as you're moving up and down, getting rid of the stress and tension, increasing flexibility in the cell tissue, membranes. So I don't know of any other exercise that can do that. Cellercise. As an argument, let's consider this versus typical exercise. It's fun, and we want to make it fun. You don't have to work hard on a Cellerciser. You play on the Cellerciser, it works hard on you. So just have fun on it. It's easy. Everybody virtually can do it. Children can do it, and they often, my grandkids are doing it. My kids have all grown up on it. It's easy. There's many different approaches you can take on the Cellerciser. So if you want to address certain issues or conditions or target certain areas of the body, the app will show you how to do it, and our website will show you how to do it. So it's, yeah, go ahead.
Why do you not recommend doing jumping jacks on the Cellerciser?
Okay, why do I not recommend doing jumping jacks on the Cellerciser? Because when you land on the springs are great. I've never broken a spring in over 30 years, ever. But if you do jumping jacks and you land on the spring, it can fracture the spring itself. If landing on the spring, you fracture it, eventually that fracture can cause it to break. So rather than do a standard jumping jack where you're landing on the springs like this, I do it where you lean forward. Usually, if you have a streamline bar, it's easy. If you don't, then you might take the wider bar off to do this. But I just kick back, and this is going to be on our new app as well. But it lets me stay more centered, just like that. And this movement is giving me all the benefits. And then you can do the kickouts to help supplement those areas of the body.
Is there an advantage of having the narrower balance bar over the wider one?
Is there an advantage? There's a little advantage. And the wider bar is good for home. We had the wider bar here for years. They both work. It costs more to produce this one piece balance bar than it does to produce the top on a half full Cellerciser. So the half full is a little more economical, the tri-full costs a little bit more. But rather than having to purchase a whole new balance bar, we produced just the top piece so that you can convert your wider bar into a narrower bar. But the narrower bar gives you a little bit more room to do some of the movements where it's not quite as wide. So you have a little bit more room on the mat. But that was an added benefit that I hadn't anticipated. I created the streamlined balance bar so it would fit into the carrying case more effectively on the tri-full for people to travel a lot. They didn't have all the different pieces. And what we ended up finding out was, yeah, that streamlined balance bar is pretty neat. And so rather than raise the price on the half full, we just decided we'd keep the price, keep the balance bar as it is, but give people who wanted the option of getting the streamlined balance bar that ability.
Do you think it's a good idea to rebound after having the COVID vaccine?
Do you think it's a good idea to rebound after having the COVID vaccine? Yeah, I don't know. I know that the Cellerciser helps to improve the immune system. It helps to break up blockages. It helps to prevent sticky blood cells, which lead us to think that can help prevent clotting, things like that. So the moving up and down, I think is very, very important. It has many, many benefits. We don't know enough about the vaccine. It's experimental. So, and it's not been FDA approved as a actual vaccine other than for emergency purposes, and it's been approved for emergency purposes. But we don't know. Not enough testing has been done on it. We don't know the short and long-term effects. But I do know that Cellercise has incredible benefits. I just don't know what. I can't answer that. I wish I could. I know I would be on it personally, but I can't make that recommendation. Any other questions? No, Ricky.
My balance bar makes a horrible squeaking noise and vibrates. Is there anything that can be done?
Yeah, balance bar makes okay. The balance bar is designed to be loose. People often ask me, how come it's not stiff? Well, so if it's stiff, then you become dependent upon the bar for your balance. When it's loose, you pull it toward you when you want it to tighten up. And as your balance gets better and better, you will find yourself putting less and less weight on the bar, and without even knowing it. If you want to, you can take one layer of duct tape and put it around the bottom of the leg, and then slide your bar back over the duct tape. And that will help stiffen it up a little bit and help make it a little quieter. Okay, so it's fun, it's easy, it's convenient. I mean, you can take the Cellerciser with you wherever you go. I never leave home without it, but you can do it in a living room. It's convenient. You don't have to change your clothes. You don't have to get in the car. You don't have to pay membership dues. You don't have to change your clothes, get fancy shoes. It's just convenient, and that is one of the things that I like about it. It's efficient because it's working everything. It's on every muscle, bone, connective tissue, ligament, tendon, skin, collagen, protein, fibers. The pumping action is helping to open up circulatory systems and channels, challenging balance and equilibrium, proprioceptors. There's so much as far as the efficiency of what Cellercise can do. It's safe. You're not out there jumping high. You're not jumping high on the Cellerciser. You're not doing crazy things on it. So we have people of all ages, people in their 80s, 90s, and 100s that are Cellercising. Many of them have been with me now that are in their 90s and started when they're in their 70s. And they're just enjoying life. And so it's portable. So that's That's one of the benefits. That's one of the reasons I think we should consider Cellercise. If you like other types or forms of exercise, great, go out and enjoy it. But I don't think it ever is going to take the place of the benefits that you get from Cellercise. So enjoy the other modalities. I think that's fine. But I think honestly that everybody ought to have a Cellerciser in every home for improving immune system, circulation, balance, equilibrium, strength, flexibility, timing, speed, coordination, all these benefits. Plus, we can target the different areas of the body, which we're going to do right now. Any other questions?
Have you ever considered making an XL size Cellerciser?
Yeah, an extra large Cellerciser. Here's why we don't. The wider out you go, the less support you have in the middle of the mat. There's a number of units that are out there that use bungee cords or rubber bands. And I'm not here to disparage it, but I am here to help you understand that rubber bands are not in any way going to give you the kind of resistance or support you're going to get on a steel spring. When the wider out you go, or the softer the unit is, the more that your feet can pronate every time you land. And Justice, would you take him, please? Sorry about that. I guess he wanted in the show. But as we, remind me, what was I saying, Brooklyn?
Extra large Cellerciser.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So the wider out you go, the less support you have in the middle, the more the feet will pronate, and the less support you're going to have for the different movements. So if you're trying to alter the angle of your body to create leverage and you don't have enough support in the middle, it'll have a tendency to throw you off. But more than anything else, when the unit becomes too soft, then the feet are landing like this or pronating every time you land on the unit. And as over a period of time, and we hear this all the time, people with those units often will complain about ankle problems, knee problems, hip problems. And so we use the tridaptable spring design. And that's a new technology, and it's our patented technology. But it supports you. It doesn't matter whether you're 30 pounds or over 300 pounds. We utilize that portion of the spring you need based upon how much you weigh or how high you jump. So you always have support, which is what we want. And the spring is a self-adjusting spring. One spring for all family members. And it doesn't matter what your weight is. It's designed to help support you in the activity that you're doing. Any other questions?
Do you have any ideas on what
Thank
to
you,
do for sacroiliac joint pain?
Sacroiliac, yeah. That's this movement right here is probably one of the best movements that I can think of. It's helping with people that have sciatica issues. It's helping with the lower back. It's helping with the hips. It's helping with digestion, elimination processes, the liver, the kidney, the spleen, the gallbladder, pancreas, adrenals. I mean, there's so many benefits to that particular movement. Any other questions?
I'm having joint pain and my knees pop every time I bounce. Do you have any recommendations?
Yeah, keep working on building up those supporting. Okay, the question was, I'm having knee issues or joint pain. Is there anything I can do on the Cellerciser? Yeah, we want to build up the knees. As we build up the supporting muscles and ligaments around the knee, then we're able to retain more fluid in the knee. This is very gentle but very effective in helping to build up the knee. We're going to demonstrate some of those movements. Ready? Right now. Okay. So let's work from the top down. I want to show you different movements and the little keys or secrets that can make those movements more effective for you. So starting with the shoulder, since that was one of the questions, is we always begin with the health of the baby bounce. And you can feel the dynamics of the shoulders when you're doing this. That's a lot of pumping up and down, or circulation that's working. If I take my arm, and you've seen me do this, and cup it under here, it helps to stretch the back as well as the shoulder. But as I get a little more flexible, I want to take that shoulder and I want to pull it in front of my chin. So this extra movement, you can help feel the stretch. And when you feel that stretch, if you take your fingers and dig them into the muscle, you're going to feel the muscle with that extra stretch and that extra massage effect that helps to open up those muscles and ligaments just by gently bouncing. Wonderful feeling. Of course, you do the same thing with the other way, and you get to the point where you pull gently that direction too. Okay, so those are that's the shoulders, some good movements. We're going to have additional movements on our Mr. Rebounder app coming up in about a month. We had to rewrite some of the coding so that it will work more effectively on your devices. But we've already got the movements done. There's nearly 30 additional movements that will be available on the Mr. Rebounder app. So that movement is really good for the shoulder. The bronchial tube lung exercises also helps with the lymphatic pumping of the chest cavity area, because the arms are moving up and down, and that pumps. It's a literal pump. The Cellerciser is a pump, which helps to pump the lymph system, make it easier on the heart because it's moving through with the heart. But the arms, as they move up and down, are pumping as well. So this is a real helpful routine. I had a gentleman who called me just the other day who has asthma, or had asthma, and he's feeling quite the difference in doing the Cellerciser. In fact, he initially told me, yeah, do that 20 minutes a day. I said, what? I've never done that. I said, no, I do repetitions. I'll do it for a little bit, and then I'll do some other movements, and then I come back and do it again. Yeah, okay. I think the most I've ever done is maybe 18 breaths. I don't know, but that movement right here opens up the bronchial tubes and the lungs. Many of you have heard my story, how I came up with that. But it goes just like this. And if you can hear me, and you can hear the difference in the voice when you do it too. So if you like to sing, or you're a radio announcer, it opens up the larynx. It really does. It gets to the other 1/3 of the lung that most people don't get enough oxygen to, but it's real. It just really, it's a great movement. And you can hear my lungs, how open they are. After I had the COVID, it took about a month at least to really open up those bronchial tubes again and get it so that my lungs were clear. And often when people start this movement, they'll be clearing stuff out of the lung. That's good, nothing wrong with that. Okay, a couple other movements I want to talk about is the Jamba walk and then the Jamba run for burning calories and building up the knees. So bending, I keep my back straight, feet flat, push down into the mat. Your feet hardly come up at all. You want to keep them flat, keep your back straight. That puts the weight on the thighs and the knees. As you get stronger, you can come up a little bit, or do the Jamba run, which is pushing down faster. So it's like this. That's the Jamba run. Now, if you want to go more intense, do the Jamba run, but lift your feet up about 1 inch. You won't last very long, but it's a phenomenal exercise. So it's more like, and that one will burn, and it burns calories as well. Okay, another one I want to show you, the twist. Okay, so there's 2 ways of doing this. As we stand on the Cellerciser, we lift our heels up and down, and we do a gentle twist. This is the second most important physical activity I teach people we can do every day, I believe. Because what this is doing, besides loosening up the lower back, it's taking all your internal organs and putting them through a little washing machine effect. So as you're moving up and down and scrubbing, it's like an internal scrub brush to help stimulate circulation, break up blockages, detoxify, take the colon and the intestines and gently massage them so we can increase our ability to absorb nutrients more efficiently and move digestive fluids and enzymes around. That gentle twisting motion to help with increased circulation, because we're pumping up and down to the muscle, and as we gently twist, initially, you start to increase more circulation to the disc. And so again, it's just real easy. Now, as we become more proficient, we can take this to another level, and that's going to help people in it targets hip issues. If we want to open up the hip area, we want to increase circulation and flexibility and strength in the muscle supporting the hip joint. So this one is great. The hip joint movement is where you keep the waist straight ahead, and the twist is done in the hip socket area. So the heels come up and down, but the hips stay straight ahead. This is all being done right in the hip socket area. I think it's wonderful for the customer reviews and the people we've had who have benefited from this movement. Now we can strengthen the hips, rocking side to side, jumping side to side, kicking out side to side, doing these various different movements. There's a number of ways that we can do that. But that twisting movement here, I think it's one of the best techniques that we can do. Okay, I had let me see if feet issues. Okay, let's talk about the feet a little bit. Real important to increase circulation. If we don't have enough padding on the feet, or if we have sensitive nerves, or you're dealing with neuropathy or some of these issues, circulation is still very, very important. And with the foot, one of the benefits that we've received, and people often will do it up to 20 minutes to really feel that benefit, but lifting the heels up and down starts to work the calf muscles and underneath the arch of the foot. And as we're moving up and down, those muscles are flexing, helping to force circulation through all the tissue areas of the foot. If that is too intense, we can start off by, again, staying flat-footed and just simply rocking side to side. And as we're rocking side to side, that can help too. And I want you to know I'm going to oil my Cellerciser next week because I can hear it squeaking in some of those hinges too. So I use oil mine maybe once every year and a half. It's been a long time since I've oiled this one. So that's for the foot. Now fingers. Let's talk about fingers. Okay. And this is a technique also that we've had people that are saxophone players and guitarists that are in their 70s now and want to still be able to play, and they're finding out their dexterity is improving. They've told me, they've written me, they've called me about what it's done for their fingers. So we want to increase circulation to the joints of the fingers. So one of the things that I do is you put the fingers straight down, gently move up and down until you can feel the pressure at the tips of your finger. And when you feel the pressure at the tips of your finger, then wiggle your hands around. See the movement up and down, and you can move it straight down, move it up, move it over. Our objective is to open up the circulatory channels and increase circulation in the joints. And we can end up just by holding our hands in this position as you move up and down. you will feel the tips and the fingers as they're expanding and contracting. It can take a little bit of time, but that's another technique. All right. Sleep. We'll talk about that. All right, so let's do the sleep one. For people who have stress. Yes, Brickman, there's a question?
Are there any suggestions to stay motivated to get on the Cellerciser?
Yes.
On a daily basis?
Yes, absolutely. And, number one, knowing intellectually is good. But dealing with the, what do they say? That the spirit is willing, the body is weak. We want to encourage ourselves to do it. Take a look at the people around you who don't exercise, that don't take care of themselves. Motivation has three different parts. There's fear motivation. That's when somebody's gone too far and something negative has caused them to have to do something because they're afraid. And we don't want that, but that's fear motivation. There's incentive motivation, which is the reward. I know if I Cellercise, I'm going to feel better. My body is going to be performing better. I'm going to reward myself if I Cellercise. Successful people know how to create incentives for themselves. They reach a certain goal or milestone, they have a reward. And they've learned to cherish those moments. So if you do it a certain number of times or a certain number of days, think of a way that you can reward yourself. And then there's internal motivation. And that takes a little more time, but you do it because you know it's good. You breathe because you get oxygen and you need oxygen to live, right? Well, I believe Cellercise is almost as important because of what it can do to the blood chemistry of the body. When we understand that sticky blood cells in our body, when they're sticky, it's hard for the heart to pump sticky blood cells through the circulatory system. And as they get sticky, capillaries can shrink, we lose circulation, the body functions, we begin to develop symptoms of the aging process. It doesn't feel very good. Get on a Cellerciser for just 3 to 5 minutes. It helps break up sticky blood cells, oxygenates the cells so that they become separated, oxygenated, energized, and vibe with more fluid. It's easier to circulate through the body. You're going to feel better. Body functions are going to perform better. So here's what I did. And to motivate myself is, and I think I've shared this recently, is I put it in between my bedroom and the hallway coming out of the bedroom. It was in the doorway. I had no option. I had to find a way to step over it or get on it, bounce for a few moments, and then step off of it. Well, that's what I did. And the only problem with that is if you forget it's there at nighttime. I had many bruises on my shins. I literally did. Where I would forget it was there and it hurt because I'd run into it. But over a period of time, I learned that Cellercise is very important. And I know also what I feel like when I don't Cellercise. When I notice the puffiness starting to build up around the eyes or in the face, and I realize, oh, I've got to start Cellercising because I've missed a couple days. And I don't like that. So I Cellercise for good health. But again, what is it that motivates you? And realize that what motivates you today may not motivate you next week or a month from now. That's why so many New Year's resolutions are broken. So truly successful people understand how to motivate themselves today and find new ways of motivating themselves in the future. And that can be creative. But share with us as the Cellercise family some of the ways that you motivate yourself to get on the Cellerciser. We leave it out in the living room. I've got one in the office. I make them available so that if I need to, I get on the Cellerciser. But again, tell yourself, this is fun. You know, we talk about proclamations, declarations, affirmations, the power of the spoken word, and what you think, what you visualize. It starts there. Visualize. This is key. Visualize yourself Cellercising. Visualize yourself having fun and enjoying it. tell yourself, oh, I need my Cellerciser. I got to have my Cellerciser today. Ideas affect the way we think. The way we think affects the way we act. The way we act determines to a large degree our results. We want to take charge of our results. We take charge of the ideas that we're allowing ourselves to be exposed to, even if we don't necessarily believe it right now. Exercise a particle of faith. That's all it is. Visualize the end result. See yourself getting on it and enjoying it. And tell yourself, whether you do or not, or whether you believe it or not, tell yourself, I love it. I love getting on it. Over a period of time, you literally do. And you start to enjoy it. And it's that same principle we can apply in every area of our life. Any other questions, Ricky? Okay. If you could, share with us some additional questions that you have. And some of the different ways that you yourself are motivated. And if you have anything specific you want us to address, please let us know. Cellercise. Fun, easy, convenient, economical, safe, portable, efficient. You don't have to work out when you play in. Play on the Cellerciser. Let it work on you. Share it with your family and friends. Let me know if there's anything I can do to help. And thank you for being part of the Cellercise family. We'll see you in a couple of weeks.